Hello and welcome to another episode of The Week Gone By. I am Anindo and I'll give you a brief of all the news that has happened in South Asia and beyond in the last week. Well, the wait is finally over. The ICC Cricket World Cup 2011 kicked off on Thursday with a grand opening ceremony at the Bangabandhu National Stadium in Dhaka. This is the 10th edition of ICC Cricket World Cup and this is the moment South Asia was eagerly waiting for. Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka are co-hosting this cricketing extravaganza and it was perfect symphony of lights, music and fireworks that greeted this mega sporting event. With the mega opening ceremony, Bangladesh undoubtedly took its place in the history as the world watched with bated breath the opening ceremony live. And finally, it was a historic moment when Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina officially declared the ICC World Cup 2011 open.
I hereby declare the ICC Cricket World Cup 2011 open.
But the most exciting part of the entire opening ceremony was the way that all the 14 captains of the various teams entered the stadium, and it was something that has never been seen before. They were led on a cycle rickshaw into a packed stadium with cheering crowds. In a nation where rickshaws continue to be the most popular mode of conveyance, it was Bangladesh's way of fusing tradition with modernity. It was then the turn of some speeches as Bangladesh Cricket Board President Mustafa Kamal, Bangladesh Finance Minister A.M.A. Mohit along with the ICC President Sharad Pawar welcomed the exuberant audience into the magnificent opening ceremony and the cricketing bonanza.
This is a historic day when all of you have joined to organize World Cricket Cup along with Sri Lanka and India. And I'm confident the way all of you have responded, this will be one of the World Cup will be always remembered in the history of the world cricket.
Most importantly, to the people of Bangladesh, the nation as a whole, who love cricket so much that they have given their best to make it an occasion for national pride.
Well, South Asia always stands incomplete without music, and Bangladesh World Cup organizers did not miss out on this perfect opportunity to showcase its rich cultural heritage and glorious tradition. Bangladesh, India and Sri Lanka made magnificent presentations through songs and dance numbers.
Look at everything that's come and gone. Sometimes when I play my old sixth string, think about you, wonder what went wrong. Standing on your mama's porch, you told me that you wait forever. And when you held my hand, I knew that it was now or never. Those were the best days of my life.
And in the final moments, it was Bryan Adams who captured people's imagination with his all-time favorite number, The Summer of '69. Indian music composer Trier Shankar Ehsan Loy then churned out the official song for the World Cup. And even singer Roona Laila of Damadam Mast Kalandar fame and pop singer Mila added a local touch to the extravaganza as they unveiled it in the last phase. Well, Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had a crucial time last week as he spoke with the media people. Now, it was of more significance as it came right after the main opposition party BJP wrecked the parliament over the alleged corruption that brewed under the UPA-led governance. Admitting that some compromises have to be made in managing a coalition, the Indian Prime Minister said that his government will bring the wrongdoers in scams to book, but ruled out quitting from the post.
We take our job very seriously. We are here to govern and to govern effectively, tackle the problems as they arise.
During the Televised speech, the Prime Minister also vowed to fight corruption after a series of high-profile scandals shook the country. Manmohan Singh said an impression had gone around that India was a scam-driven country and this was not in anyone's interest.
I wish to assure you and I wish to assure the country as a whole that our government is dead serious in bringing to book all the wrongdoers, regardless of their position they may occupy.
But however, during this rare press conference, the Prime Minister denied having any direct role in the telecom scam.
I did not proceed further with this matter of pricing of spectrum because if the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Telecom both agree and they have the obligation in terms of the cabinet decision of 2003 to decide that matter, I did not feel I was in a position to insist that auctions must be insisted.
And apart from corruption, the Prime Minister also pointed out that the high food inflation was a cause for concern and that the government was trying to bring it down.
If we were concerned only with curbing inflation, I think we could have done it, I think, by pursuing tighter monetary policies. We could have, I think, brought about a situation where the price rise could be moderated.
Prime Minister Manmohan Singh also stated during his statement that the internal security scenario continues to be a matter of great concern and asserted that the government is better prepared now to deal with any terror threat.
Internal security of the country has been a great concern. I wouldn't like to say that we're not worried about terrorist act. We are better prepared to deal with acts of terror and to prevent many potential terrorist acts. And I think the government deserves some credit.
Now, time will only say what will be the final outcome of these proceedings, and question remains as whether the singer will come to India after such an incident. Time now to check out the updates from another proceeding that has been under the scanner of the world media for the past week. After week-long controversies and diplomatic deadlock, the Lahore High Court finally adjourned hearing of case related to diplomatic immunity of Raymond Davis till the 14th of March.
Raymond Davis is a US national and he was arrested for gunning down two Pakistani citizens in Lahore on January 27th. The High Court adjourned the case after Ministry of Foreign Affairs requested the court for 3 weeks' time to submit its reply in the case. In a previous hearing, the court had given the ministry 15 days' time to state whether full diplomatic status is held by Davis. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani also said during the past week that it's upon the court to decide the fate of Raymond. The Prime Minister also asked relatives of the slain to pardon Raymond following the high-profile visit by US Senator John Kerry to the country aimed at resolving the row. Kerry, who heads the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, arrived in Lahore on Tuesday and voiced deep regret over the killings. The US Senator also said that Pakistan and United States need to focus on their many mutual interests rather than letting the dispute over a jailed US embassy worker derail relations. John Kerry, moreover, met with President Asif Ali Zardari and Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani and also held meetings with Finance Minister Abdul Hafiz Sheikh and former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi. Meanwhile, relatives of those two who were killed have demanded Raymond's execution and have said that they are not ready to bow out at any cost. The Pakistani government has reportedly kept silence over the issue that triggered a major diplomatic row between Pakistan and the United States. The United States has already postponed a round of high-level talks with Afghanistan and Pakistan following failed attempts to get Davis out. On the other hand, the US lawmakers have also threatened to cut payments to Pakistan unless he is freed.
Well, the top story from there is that the bilateral relation between India and Sri Lanka was in the troubled waters. Earlier in the week, India conveyed its deep concern over the detention of 136 Indian fishermen in Jaffna and asked the Sri Lankan government to take necessary steps to get them released.
Indian External Affairs Minister S.M. Krishna said that he had a telephonic conversation with his Sri Lankan counterpart G.L. Peris and that he has conveyed India's deep concern at the detention of nearly 136 fishermen in the Jaffna district. 136 Indian fishermen were in the custody of Sri Lankan authorities, out of which 112 were caught on last Tuesday by a group of local fishermen and handed over to the police there. But however, on Friday, Sri Lanka released the 136 Indian fishermen who were apprehended for allegedly poaching in its waters. A day after India conveyed its deep concern over the detention of Indian fishermen and sought their release, the fishermen along with their boats were released by the Sri Lankan authorities following a court order. Also, after a series of incidents in which Tamil Nadu fishermen were crossed over into Sri Lankan waters recently, the Indian government set up a 4-member committee under a senior naval officer to suggest ways to visibly demarcate the maritime boundary with Sri Lanka. But when on one hand Sri Lanka released the 136 Indian fishermen, on the other hand the Indian Navy arrested 4 Sri Lankan fishermen on Friday and seized a Sri Lankan registered mechanized fishing boat for trespassing into the Indian territorial waters. The fishermen, however, told the media that they entered the Indian coast while they lost the route.
On the other hand, UML Chairman and Prime Minister Jhalanath Khanal and Maoist Chairman Prachanda met in the capital on Friday to discuss the long-stalled cabinet expansion. And this was at a time when both the parties are staking their claim on Home Ministry portfolio. The two leaders discussed issues related to the implementation of the 7-point agreement as well. Now, the Home Ministry also has long been the bone of contention and has impeded the expansion of the cabinet for more than a week after the new Prime Minister was sworn in. On Wednesday, a meeting between the two had agreed to allocate 11 ministries, including Home and Foreign Affairs, to the Maoists. It was also decided that the UML will get 8 ministries, including that of Finance. However, the agreement could not be formalized after UML leaders close to the KP Oli protested the allocation of Home Ministry to the Maoists. They said that the Maoists should not hold any security-related portfolio before conclusion of the peace process. Now, I will be back again next week with more news and updates from across South Asia. Till then, goodbye and keep watching TV South Asia.